the first game that I wanted to touch on was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Green Bay Packers. Probably the hyped up game of the week. Rodgers versus Brady, two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. People consider Brady the GOAT, obviously for good reason. He has 6 rings. He had a great stint with the Patriots. They had a great stint with the Patriots. So it was a good run. 6 titles with Belichick. Never seen before. Obviously, Brady's the GOAT. In my opinion, he is the GOAT, even though I don't really care for him, or I've never really enjoyed him that much. I've always been against the Patriots, but it is what it is. And then on the Green Bay side, Rodgers, people call him the best thrower of the football in NFL history. He's a good quarterback too. But yeah, Tampa Bay versus Green Bay, it was a hyped up game of the week. And honestly, it was a little disappointing. I thought it was going to be more competitive. I thought the Packers and the Buccaneers were going to go down to the wire, and it didn't. What was the score? It was 38-10 Buccaneers. They won by 4 touchdowns. At the beginning, it looked like the Packers were going to maybe get ahead. They were up 10-0, I believe. They had the football. The Buccaneers hadn't done anything, and then Rodgers threw a pick 6, and then the game just flipped on that play. The Buccaneers were prepared for Rodgers. They threw a lot of blitzes. They made him really uncomfortable. I think for the first time all season, Rodgers didn't look comfortable inside the pocket. He looked rattled. His line looked like it was overmatched. Yeah, the whole game he was just running for his life basically. He didn't have a lot of chance to just sit in the pocket and pick the defense apart, and they were throwing pressure from all over the place. So even when he would try to scramble and extend the play, and we all know Rodgers, when he does that, that's when he's at his best, when he improvises and he makes like great plays. Yeah, the Bucs were all over that. They didn't give him a chance to really improvise and extend the play. The Buccaneers, for the first time in their history as a franchise, they had 0 turnovers and they had 0 penalties throughout the whole game. And I think that's a culture change that Brady has brought from the Patriots. He's brought discipline to this team. First time ever, no penalties and no turnovers. That's pretty incredible. It's incredible that it had never happened, and then it's no surprise, to be honest, that it happens now that Brady's here. He takes care of the football, and I know he holds his team accountable, so it's not that surprising that they had no penalties. And it's funny because Jamal Williams, running back for the Packers, actually called out Brady in the middle of the week. He said there was like a soundbite that said, "Oh, my quarterback or our quarterback always knows what down it is," and I was referencing last week when the Bucs played the Bears on Thursday Night Football. Like, I think they were down a touchdown or a field goal, and Brady was driving down the field, and they were in a 4th down situation, and it looked like Brady didn't know that it was 4th down, because once they didn't get the 1st down on that down, he still thought he had another down. So he thought it was 3rd down, and then they were going into 4th down when they were actually in 4th down, and that was their last chance. And he missed. They didn't connect, so that was it. And then he held out a 4, thinking like, "Oh, are we not going towards 4th down right now?" So there was a lot of scrutiny in the media. Everybody kept asking Brady. Everybody kept asking Bruce Arians, like, what happened on that play? Like, did Brady just not know what down it was? Why was he throwing the 4 up when you guys were done already? When you guys had turned over the ball on downs already? And then they never admitted it, but it was pretty obvious that he did kind of like mess up mentally, or I don't know what happened, but he just lost track of the down. But Jamal Williams of the Packers throughout the week, in the middle of the week, said that soundbite just along the lines. He said that, "Oh, our quarterback always knows what down it is." And I know Brady saw that, and I know it fueled him. Brady comes from the Patriots, and they're known for having that locker room, that whiteboard material where whatever the other team says throughout the week, they just post it on the whiteboard, and that just gives them more fuel to go out there and beat you. And I know that motivated Brady. And Jamal Williams, you should know better by now. Brady's been in the league for so long. He doesn't need any extra motivation. But with that being said, like the offense struggled for the Packers. Don't get me wrong; they didn't put up points, but the defense has. It seems like they can't fix their problem. That defense is a front running defense. Like they have to be up. The offense needs to put points up, and the defense has to be playing with the lead. That's when they're pretty good. If not, like they're not great, but they're a pretty good defense if the offense gets a lead and they're able to play ahead. Because then the other team becomes one dimensional. They usually just start throwing. The defense kind of knows what's coming. They could forget about the run for the most part. When the Packers don't build a lead and the Packers defense has to account for both the run and the pass, that's when they just fall into a really bad defense and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to stop either one. They have to focus on both and they can't neutralize one or the other. So the Packers really have to get up ahead, and then the defense is able to play with the lead. They're able to just, key on the pass, let them get runs. We're up anyways. Like it doesn't really matter. So yeah, they got to fix that. They got to find a way to be a decent defense when the Packers are not ahead by a lot or just it's a close game. They got to figure out how to, I don't know, stop the running game. Everyone, a lane assignment, stay in your lane. Don't get gashed by the run. And in the pass, just don't give up the big play. If anything, they could be like a bend but don't break defense where, teams get yards on you, but once you get into the red zone, you hold them to field goals. And I think that should be good enough with Rodgers as your quarterback. But it doesn't even look like they could do that at this point. It looks like once they don't have a lead and once they can't play with confidence that, they could give up a big play because they're ahead, it just looks like they completely fold and they're just a really bad defense at that point. But it did look like they were going to be able to play ahead. Like I said, they were up 10-0 and Rodgers and the Packers had the ball on offense, and it looked like, if Rodgers, it actually looked like Brady and the Bucs weren't really doing nothing on offense. They were struggling. They weren't moving the ball. It looked like it was going to be a good game for the Packers. If Rodgers takes down the offense and they score, even just a field goal, take a 13-point lead or get a touchdown, push it to 17, it kind of looked like, okay, like the Bucs are really struggling to get anything going. But then Rodgers threw a pick six, and then they cut their lead with that touchdown. And then on 2 plays later, once they get the ball back, Rodgers throws another pick, and they bring it down all the way to like the 3 or 4 yard line. And then Brady and the offense comes in, and then they punch it in right away, and then they take the lead. And after that, it just shifted the whole game. Those 2 interceptions by Rodgers, and that's very uncharacteristic of Rodgers. He usually doesn't turn the ball over, especially pick six. Like I feel like he has very little pick sixes in his career. But that was the turning point in the game. It could have been probably a competitive game. It could have been a closer game, but that kind of opened the floodgates. After that, it was never the same. The Packers were never really in the game after that. The Buccaneers took over. Their defense hunkered down, and the Buccaneers honestly looked really, really good yesterday. For the first time this season, Gronkowski was able to get a touchdown. He looked pretty good. I believe he had over 50 yards receiving. Yeah, he looked like he's getting his connection back with Brady. If he gets going, and now they have Mike Evans. Mike Evans is getting healthy. He has a bum ankle, and Chris Godwin is coming back. He finally was able to play again. That could be scary, man. With that tight end, 2 elite wide receivers. They have decent slot wide receivers. Ronald Jones is running the ball really, really hard. He went over 100 yards again rushing. That's the 3rd straight game he's done that. He's the 3rd leading rusher in the NFL with 472 yards. That offense is starting to look balanced. Brady didn't even go over 200 yards passing yesterday, and they beat down the Packers 38-10. The Bucs are warming up, man. The Bucs might be able to do this. If Brady was able to get the Bucs to the playoffs and they're able to make some noise, oh my God, he's just gonna keep cementing his legacy. He's just gonna keep pushing further and further away. But yeah, the Buccaneers look good. The Packers need to fix their defense. Or Rodgers just has to always. There's a lot of pressure to put on Rodgers. He always has to build an early lead so that their defense could play halfway decent. Because if they don't, they don't have the defense to stop teams or to get multiple stops and give their offense a chance to get going, which is pretty dangerous.